So the summer can be a tricky time for students. A lot of students experience what we call the summer slide, so they lose some of the skills that they've gained between the end of one academic year and the start of the next. And for special education students, this is especially true. They tend to have a significant decline in their skills just because they aren't having the consistent opportunity to practice. There are probably 5 things I would suggest in terms of supporting special education students over the summer. The first would be considering extended school year programs. And so ESY programs are not summer school, but they're an extension of the typical school year, providing special education and related services. They're funded by the school district, and they're targeted to the individual needs of the student. So if a student qualifies for and would benefit from ESY programs, it's really important to get that in their IEP so they can take advantage of those services. The second thing I would say would be read, very simply. So having books at home, getting a library card and going out and finding books that the students are interested in, listening to audiobooks, reading with a parent, just really having opportunity to continue practicing those skills and stay interested in text over the summer. So similarly, accessing some educational programs that are web-based or apps that students can use over the summer, it's an easy, fun way for them to continue practicing their skills, especially in reading and math. There are some apps that are free or very cheaply available. In reading, you can look for something like Starfall, and in math, you can look for something like Mathmateer, which gives them ability to just continue practicing reading words, listening to sounds, doing math problems, and getting ready for their next year of school. The next thing I would suggest is, if possible, parents should try to connect with their children's teachers and communicate about what's going to be happening in the summer and what will happen next year. So that includes talking to this year's teacher and perhaps getting some tips and suggestions about what they could continue to practice over the summer, where they'd get the most bang for the buck in terms of what you work on. If possible, it's also great to talk to next year's teacher. This gives parents an opportunity to really talk to the teacher about their child and their child's specific needs and their learning style, and it gives the teacher an opportunity to start to get to know their students before they dive into the new year. And I think the last thing I would suggest is to make sure that there's opportunities for students to have fun and engage in exciting new adventures over the summer. So there are a lot of camps and programs that kids can enroll in, and finding something that they're really interested in, whether that be arts or sports or girls rock camp or zoo camp. Something where they really will have fun and be engaged and interact with peers, and have a strong sense of success and fulfillment as they engage in that. This leaves them really ending summer on a positive note and getting ready to start the new year the same way.